What's going on, everybody? Jordan here, back again. Just recapping some things that have been going on with Liverpool in the last 24 hours. It's been a little while since I've been here. Just been working, traveling, doing some different things. So now that we're here, we're going to get straight back into it. So all of the reports, Sky Sports, The Guardian, BBC, all have reported that Real Madrid are closing in on target Jude Bellingham. Now, I know it was probably a couple weeks ago that Liverpool announced they were pulling out of the race for Jude Bellingham, so it was only a matter of time for this to happen. I actually made a video a little over a month ago saying that my thoughts on the Bellingham saga. I thought he was coming to Liverpool. Clearly not, egg on my face, but, hey, it is what it is. Football's a game of opinions, and you try to do the best opinions that you can do with the information that you are given. We're not in the talks with Liverpool or in those negotiations or those planning meetings for what's going on, so you can only just go by based off what you've seen. But fair play to the kid, man. Super talented player. That Real Madrid midfield is looking very, very tasty when you got Valverde, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and now you're adding Jude Bellingham into the mix there. I think Asensio might be staying as well. I know he plays normally on the left, but he can also come inside and play as like a 10 or an 8 or something like that as well. That Real Madrid team is going to be stacked for the next decade. So fair play to Real Madrid. Fair play to Bellingham. Some people might want to admit it, but for me, Real Madrid is the biggest club in the world, and that's coming from a Liverpool fan. You just look at the trophies, the Champions Leagues that they've done. You've seen what they've done to us in the last two finals, back in 2018 and then this one in 2022. Real Madrid, man, they're royalty, man, and it's a shame that we couldn't get Bellingham, but I think he's going to do fairly well at Madrid. Don't wish any ill will, man. At the end of the day, do what's best for you in your career, man, and go and get that bag as well, dude. We encourage these brothers out here to keep doing what they do at a high level. So fair play to Bellingham. I wish him all the best in the future, but now we can kind of move away from that and move on to something or move on to targets that are realistic for Liverpool. So with that being said, reports also have come out today that Alexis McAllister, Liverpool are now inching closer to agreeing a deal with Brighton for Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister is an interesting proposition just because for me personally, I'm not 100% sure where he fits in our midfield. I think he's a talented player. Don't get me wrong. World Cup winner. Has been great for Brighton. I think he's been in the Premier League for about 3 or 4 years now. So really Premier League tried and tested. In our team, I don't see what skill sets he would bring to help increase our midfield. He's not really, he is very sturdy in the defense, but I don't see him as an out and out CDM to do like that. I think he can help out with that when teams are transition us. I think he's in the right places a lot of the time to help us win the ball back, but I don't think that's really his strength 100%. I think a lot of McAllister's strengths is his ability to keep the ball, as well as he has a decent pass when breaking the lines. I think that's really well, but I think Trent does that a lot for us better. I don't know if that's a better thing to say, but better. So I think as a squad, it's a good addition, but as a starter, I'm iffy on it. This is going to be one of the ones where I'm just going to let Klopp do his Stardust and, let it see from there. But, yeah, for me, he's not like a wow signing, but he's a signing where I'm like, all right, good. First one through the door. Let's go ahead and work on the next one from there. So more to come from there. I'm not too sure what the transfer fee is going to be, but I know reports previously have said it's going to be about $60 million to get McAllister. I don't think it's going to be that high. They're quoting 60 mil for Caicedo, and I think for me personally, Caicedo has a more upside than Alexis McAllister. And then like the summer before, you let Bissouma leave for 25, and I thought Bissouma was a much better midfielder in that Brighton team than Alexis McAllister was, in my opinion. I know it hasn't shown to be the case now that he's going to Tottenham, but there was a lot of hype around Yves Bissouma, and rightfully so. He was he was the main guy in that midfield a lot of teams were looking at and things like that. But Les McAllister, like I said, still a good player, just not 100% sure how he works in the team and everything like that. More likely for me, it looks like he might be taking Henderson's spot in the starting lineup if he does come in. Yeah, that's just kind of my opinion from there. Good to see that Liverpool are at least kind of moving towards that. Something had to be done, especially since the news came out yesterday that Bellingham was going his way to Real Madrid. Liverpool just definitely needed some positivity. After pulling out of the deal and seeing that, fans just wanted to see, who's coming in. So that looks encouraging. Nothing over the line yet, so we'll kind of see what's going on with that there. But with Alexis McAllister coming in, it looks like it's become official. It looks like David Lynch, for Football Insider, has reported that James Milner will be leaving Liverpool. This is a hard one for me. If you guys saw my previous video, I always said that Milner was one of the players that I switch day by day, whether let him go, whether let him stay, things like that. In that video, I did say I would let him go. And reluctant to say I think it is the right choice. The reason why I say reluctant is because I actually like James Milner. I like having senior pros in locker rooms, man. I'm just a big fan of that. I think it just brings stability. It helps bring through the younger players. They have that knowledge and they can come in and be relied upon when ready. Milner was, no, do I want to see Milner be a starter? No, I don't. But for Milner to come in 15, 20 minutes just to see the game through, I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine with that, to be honest with you. But yeah, man, kudos to James Milner, man. James Milner has had one hell of a career, if I'm honest with you, man. I would love to see him go as far as he can in that all-time Premier League appearance record. Kind of getting closer to Ryan Giggs and Gareth Barry on that torch. I don't know if he's going to catch Gareth Barry, but he could probably get close to Giggs if Brighton play him in enough games and things like that. But James Milner, man, so I can't say if he's underrated because a lot of people, Liverpool fans know he is, City fans maybe, Leeds, all these other fans know how good James Milner is. So I don't know if he's quite underrated, but Milner's been awesome for Liverpool for these last 8 years. 8 years, man. He came to Liverpool at 29 years old. That is crazy. But yeah, I've been a big fan of James Milner ever since I started watching the Premier League, which is back in 2006. So Milner back then would have been, I think, playing for Villa at that time. I think he was on loan at Villa, and then the following year he went back to Newcastle, stayed for a season, and then went to Villa on a permanent deal in 2008. But yeah, when he was playing under Martin O'Neill under that Villa side, I mean, playing right wing, midfield, defensive midfielder. And I mean, he was putting in 7 out of 10 performances week in, week out. For me, the only bad game James Milner has ever had in his career, man, was just that game at Anfield in 2021. The game where, Mo Salah sat down, Bernardo Silva and just ran past João Cancelo like he was a 12-year-old kid. Mo went off in that game, man, and scored that dazzling goal that we all remember. Probably the best goal I've seen at Anfield in probably ever. But yeah, that was the game where Foden just absolutely, made Milner show Milner his age, where you're like, man, yeah, this is an old man playing in the wrong position. That was the only bad game I think Milner had, because the very next year did the same thing and pocketed Foden. Foden didn't do anything in the game this season at Anfield. So, senior pro, man, I'm a big fan of utility players. That's something that I was when I was playing, especially in middle school and high school. My preferred position was more of a second striker, number 10 type of role. But I mean, I could play in midfield, play right back, play as a lone striker and everything like that. And I'm not a big guy. I'm about 5'7". But I'm pretty strong for my size, and as well as I was freaking cat quick as well. So I just love utility players. I love players that can like that. For me, that's when you're a true footballer, when you can go on the pitch and still, be as good as anybody, and who regularly plays in your position and everything like that. So fair play to Milner, man. I wish him all the best. Good luck at Brighton. I'm definitely going to be still looking at Brighton games, seeing how Milner does. But he's been a huge servant to Liverpool, absolute Liverpool legend, in my opinion. And hopefully these last 4 games, or the last 2 games, at least at Anfield, we'll be able to give Milner his flowers and things like that and move over from there. But some other news, I know it was reported that Thiago is out for the season with a serious thigh injury that he needed to get surgery on. I think it's time to have that conversation about Thiago, about what do Liverpool do with him this summer. He's only got a year left on his contract. Season's done. I think it might be time to let him go, to be honest with you. I think we can let him go, get some money through the door, at least recruit the 20 mil that we paid for him, and try and get another midfielder. I know like many people might think I'm talking crazy because Thiago's absolute sauce, and he is. But even when we were linked with him back in 2020, I didn't understand why we were highly looking at him, if that makes sense, because he's not a Klopp midfielder. He just never is. Klopp likes these high energy, high pressing, athletic midfielders. Somebody who can, protect the back line and also support the forward line by, pressing in the midfield, win the ball back in their half, and giving the forwards back the ball and let them create and do their thing. That's not Thiago's game. Thiago is a guy who likes to set a team that has a lot of possession, passing the ball, things like that. And I get the concept. People are like, with Jordan, Liverpool have a lot of possession, majority of the time. I hear that, but he's also not a guy that breaks the lines a lot. Like, when I watch Thiago, he does a lot of forward passing. He can beat his man in midfield and, keeps the ball rolling, things like that. He can do a lot of things that Genie did for us. I think on the ball, he's way better than Genie, 100% on the ball, way better. But as far as being industrious, strong, mobile, all the things that we love that Genie did, Thiago doesn't do that. And not only the fact like that, he doesn't stay fit. I mean, even at Bayern, you could see before he came to us, the guy would miss like 20 games a season. Probably 10 in the league and then 10 in cups in Europe and things like he misses. He always misses those games. So when fans are always like, "Oh, Thiago's hurt again," blah blah, and it's like, bro, it was like this at Bayern. He always missed games. You could ask Bayern fans, they'll tell you that he always missed games. So I just think for me, we need to start having players that we can rely on. We've had too many players now that are injuries. They're not here. We have to we have to do too much. I think we just need players who can stay fit. Obviously, we are going to have players in the team that get injured. It's a part of the game. It's sports. You get hurt. It is what it is. But the amount of people we have in the treatment table at times, man, it's like, bro, come on, man. We got to get better. And his age too, he'll be 31 this year. I just don't see the point of letting him let his contract run. I think we can probably upgrade him, get things like that. I think we can, especially if we get Ryan Gravenberch, who we were linked with a couple weeks ago as well from Bayern. If Bayern are willing to let him go and we can get him, I'd probably sell Thiago and see if we can get someone else like a Ugarte, who we've also been linked with, or make room for Mason Mount, something like that from there. But my last thought is just that just on the ownership and this whole transfer situation and things like that. I really thought maybe we can just start changing since we were linked with Tchouaméni. There has been confirmation that we put in the bids that we had in for him. So that kind of got me hoping like, okay, maybe we are going to start buying these 80 to 100 million pound players that, make the difference on day one when they come into the team. But hey, they got me, man. Looks like the market Liverpool will forever be shopping in as long as we're under FSG is that 40 to 50 pound market all the time, which isn't terrible. I mean, if you can find a good player within that price range, go for it. I mean, we got Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz. Who else have we signed? Really, they've all just been forwards, in that price range. I mean, those aren't bad deals. Not terrible deals. Those are phenomenal players. I was gassed when we signed Jota, man, when he came from Wolves. Jota was a bad man, and he still is. Gakpo, man, I never watched a lot of him, but when I saw him at the World Cup, especially the game where they played against the United States, I was like, yo, this kid is legit. I'm a big fan of Gakpo, things like that. But yeah, man, for us to be shopping, competing with the same transfers as like Man City, Real Madrid, Man U, as long as we have FSG, I don't think we'll ever be on the market for those players, which is a shame because we are Liverpool and we should be at the table with that. But hey, we're just doing things a different way, so that's fine from here. But anyway, that's my wrap up for the day. Like and subscribe to the video, and hopefully talk to y'all soon.